You're welcome back. Okay, you can send in your tweets, your comments on the program. You can send it to CTV_Bolaji A if you want us to have one or two comments from you. You can also, of course, send it to other anchors of the program. You can send it to Harriet and also to Bolson as we continue the conversation. Okay, over 2,500 participants from more than 100 countries representing business, government, civil society, media and arts will participate in the World Economic Forum Annual Meeting 2016. According to the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, the fourth industrial revolution refers to, which is the theme of the meeting, to the fusion of technologies across the physical, digital and biological worlds, which is creating entirely new capabilities and dramatic impacts on political, social and economic systems. The speed, the scale and systemic nature of this transformation has the potential to disrupt all sectors and call into question the essence of human nature and identity. Now, the purpose of the meeting this year is to build a shared understanding of this change, which is essential if we are to shape our collective future in a way that reflects ultimately that the human being should be at the center. That's according to Schwab there. That is the founder of the World Economic Forum. Okay, let's give some perspectives to these comments and, of course, what world leaders will be talking about as they gather in Switzerland. Dr. Chris Waji is the chairman, Mobile Software Solutions, and he joins me to discuss what this meeting entails. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much. I think that has been a wonderful intro with respect to what's happening in Darfur. And of course, it's going to affect a lot of us, especially the developing economies, and Nigeria in particular. The key words really are technology, disruption, change. And that is going to sweep along all domains of livelihood as we know it. But for those who will prepare effectively, you're talking about your education platform. You're talking about your governance platform. And of course, your enterprises as business. But for us in Nigeria, where we're lacking in terms of the infrastructure, if you want to address this change that is going to be discussed in Darfur, you need to really look at your broadband plan as a nation. Your ICT infrastructure has to be up and running. You need to have your skill that is going to be built effectively. And of course, your education, where we have more or less the real vulnerable piece of our architecture in the ecosystem, you need to ensure that really you are not going to shy away from employing the expertise of other people who know much better than you. So I think that's what is happening in Darfur. And when you look at the practical, digital, and of course the biological aspect, then of course it becomes so scary because everything is going to fuse together. And when they do, then automatically there's a big challenge. But I want to believe that Nigeria has a role to play in all the scheme of things. Yeah.
Now, the major word there is disruption, like you rightly mentioned. And the fourth industrial revolution, you know, according to the WEF, says it refers to the ongoing transformation of our society and economy driven by advances in artificial intelligence, robotics, autonomous vehicles, 3D printing, nanotechnology and other areas of science. And this makes me to wonder how, for those of us in the developing economies, how can we key into that? You've mentioned the issue of education, but so far it seems these points, these systems are way ahead of us. How soon can we catch up to ensure that we're not left behind in the flow?
Good. I think the nomenclature of catching up really sometimes might be misleading. Because when you look at disruption erodes the notion of catching up. You just do it. And when you do it, you're talking about innovative and creative minds. So you need to create a creative class. It's not just about the middle class. We've passed through middle class. Creative class who can disrupt the momentum of development all around the world. It's not just about doing something for Nigeria, no. It's a bang thing that you do to be recognized around the world, where you become a creator, so other people become the consumers Presently, we are holistically consuming, and I think that is what the change mantra in Nigeria is all about. You want to change your attitude in terms of development. Though Nigeria is growing, but really, economists will tell you Nigeria is not developing. It's never developed in the last 40 years. Growth and development in economics are two different things. And technology being at the middle of what we are saying, then automatically you need to bring technology to play at the table of decision in education, in governance, in legislature, and of course, even within the Senate. There's a lot of things that we say that is happening at the Senate level where technology is missing. We've seen a lot of things that are happening in the civil service where technology is missing. We see a lot of things that's happening in the presidency where technology is missing. You can't compete globally where technology is not at the middle of your decision-making program, where skilled people and professionals are outside your decision-making problem. And that's why the Darfur World Summit, World Economic Summit is so crucial for Nigeria especially, to ensure that they build the commensurate capacities that can ensure that they can be competitive with the rest of the world.
So far, we have left technology behind. That's what it means. We have
Absolutely.
not engaged it to the fullest. And that brings me to the level of ICT development in the country in itself. We have mostly young people at the center in terms of having to drive growth of the internet today. And we've seen how the social media has grown over a very short period of time. But how much involvement do you think the government is getting into ensuring that we develop the ICT of the economy of the country itself?
I think our government is just trying to realize, the importance of ICT, and we're leaving ICT behind since 2002 when we established the Nigerian Computer Societies through the ICT policy from the nation. Now, the youths are abundant. We're getting a figure of 69.7 or 70% of the population that are youths. And taking an index analysis of Lagos, where we are saying about 19 million people, without an innovation center, without an information technology park, then automatically you see that we have really missed the link. Lagos is supposed to have, at least as now, for my estimation, more than 10 knowledge parks where the youths will be innovating, disrupting, and engaging, where, of course, the solutions that will be consumed at all spectra, be it in education, be it in entertainment, be it in governance, will come from these innovation centers. And that is why we are importing foreign softwares, sometimes that failed, because we don't have any response to be able to ensure that these things can be. So the youths are the central drivers for this innovation. But then, for them to have the potential that can be ripped up, you need to give them a platform where they can exist. The platform presently is not existing.
We have some incubation centers in the country. The former Minister for ICT started that, and she was able to bring together some young people and put them in an incubation center to allow them to develop the softwares, bring the ideas together, and ensure that they're able to contribute to the economy in whatever way they can. Can that be expanded? Do you think that we should continue from where she stops in that respect?
Absolutely. I mean, Omobolaji Johnson, I was privileged to be in her council as an advisor, and we brought out the idea of that innovation center as incubators. But guess what? You're talking about the colossal response of capacity building. You cannot respond with an incubation center of 20 people, where India having an incubation center of 50,000, 100,000. It doesn't yield. Government was come to bear with a holistic blueprint of what ICT development has to be in the country. For example, you have a software that is being imported into your country. Software today is like food and drugs, and you don't have a policy on software importation into your country. There are global standards on software, on medicals, because software can kill people when the oxygen is congealed, when the blood clot and in transfusions are bad, on surgery. So you have to treat it as food and drug. Food and drug can be injurious, that can help your country. There has to be a guideline, there has to be standards and all what's not. And of course, there has to be a type approval for the type of software that can be used in government. You cannot expose your software to national security to foreigners or to government. United Nations has laid down some of these guidelines of how these things has to happen. So the use of this country have the capability. We know where the weaknesses are in the education sector. You're talking about the lecturers. who, of course, in the last 10, 20, 15 years have not gone to workshops and all what's not. We need to plug into this and make sure that we can retool the entire education system on science and technology. There are a lot of curriculum that has been faulty. Like UK has noticed, the curriculum of ICT is archaic. Now they are returning to a curriculum of computer science in schools, where even 5-year-old people are made to write proper programs. That is what the network is, and that's what they're going to be discussing at the Durham Fair.
Other issues regarding climate change, the security situation of the world. Of course, we know what is going on in Nigeria and the northeast of the country. Perhaps technology would help us to resolve the problems in tackling Boko Haram in the northeast. How do you think our government can employ the use of technology, which I think is the focal point of this meeting, to ensure that we are able to address a security situation and, of course, the larger picture of the climate change itself?
In fact, for security, you look at what has been happening, the antecedents of Osama bin Laden. Security has been, technology has been at the center of security. Without technology, Osama bin Laden would not have been detected. It would not have been eliminated. So what we are saying is that there is an aspect of technology that can help in ensuring that the Boko Haram aspect can be done. You have global incident reporting, where with the ubiquity of our cell phones as a nation, more than 182 million cell phones at the hands of Nigerians, some carrying 2 or 3, you have an enormous advantage that we can use for incident reporting. So people can do whistleblowing to ensure that, because we know ourselves, we know where the thieves are, the police know, and all what's not, but then when they report this, and then automatically you'll be able to take action before it is too late. What is happening is that we are not proactively engaging national security. Talking about cybercrime, cyber security is on the prowl. People are hacking into government websites. They're hacking into banks and stealing money. Who is going to defend those people? It is the use of this country who probably will be built into a defense capability of SAT, so that they can be able to respond at the shortest possible time, so that Nigeria cannot be shorted.
Sure.
God forbid if a 12-year-old from outside this country holds our central bank to ransom and say, devalue your money to $1 to 1,000. And automatically, if you don't, I will erase all your data. So we need a response that can be at the defensive side. And I think there is a cybersecurity platform that is hosting in Abuja, who are doing a very good job with Akim Ajijola and Shegun Lugbemi, who are, of course, at the program. But they need assistance. They need to be funded, just as those incubators also need to be funded.
The event is from the 20th to the 23rd of January in Davos Clusters. I'm sure this is an ongoing conversation. We hope to look at the issues as they're being discussed at that meeting, and we hope, hopefully, to also bring you back to give us more perspectives into the topics raised.
Thank you very
so
much
for coming.
But let's get on the closing. On the closing is that we have left Millennium Development Goals and we are now in the Sustainable Development Goals. That is a challenge. We have not attained the Millennium Development Goals. We are now pursuing Sustainable Development Goals. We need to put in our thinking hat and see where is the roadmap and where is Nigeria of the future going.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Chris Suwaje, Chairman, Mobile Software Solutions, talking about the World Economic Forum meeting, which is built to start in Davos Clusters. Of course, we have a crew there to give us some updates as the event and the issues raised are being discussed.